So somebody asked me a very interesting question about whether or not I think it's okay to hit somebody if you think that they're going to hit you. Now, this is a really good question, but I have to say that in this video, I'm not going to be telling you whether I think you should or should not do anything. This is in no way meant to be taken as me telling you what to do. However, I will be telling you what I might do given a certain set of circumstances. So with that said, it should be understood that anything I say in this video is meant to be a representation of what I feel and what I may or may not do in a situation and nothing else. The short answer is yes, I would be willing to hit somebody to avoid being hit, and this is really a no-brainer to me, and I've done it before. There's also been other times where I've been the initiator of a fight, but instead of striking, I ended up using grappling. And most of the time, I actually prefer to use grappling, and there's multiple reasons for this. For one thing, I know that most people don't grapple, and even if the person does, there is a very good chance that I'll be able to catch them by surprise and use the momentum that I have to try and avoid being hurt. Another aspect is that it's much easier to gain control of a situation using grappling, and when I do have control, it's really my call as to what happens next. When I end up throwing punches, there's a bunch of different things that might end up happening. I could miss, I could hit him, but it doesn't quite do the damage that I want. It could also be a little bit too effective, and it could seriously injure him in a way that I didn't want to. This actually leads me to number 3, which is that grappling can actually be a lot safer for everybody involved in many different cases. If I do hit somebody and they end up hitting their head on the ground and die, that's not only going to be horrible for me to live with, it's also going to affect his family, which is not necessarily something I want to do, and it's also going to potentially land me in prison. This actually leads me to number 3, which is that grappling in many cases can actually be safer for everybody involved, because typically you're not going to kill somebody with grappling, but people tend to die from punches all the time. Now, you're probably sitting here wondering why I'm going on about grappling when the question specifically mentioned punching, and that's because I feel that it's probably good to tell you why I prefer grappling as opposed to just hitting somebody and being done with it. I also know that the fact that I've been grappling for so long definitely gives me an edge in situations like this, and because of this, if I had never grappled in my life, I'd probably be a lot quicker to start throwing hands. But seeing as how I have been grappling for so long, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use it. Now, with all that said, if I absolutely could not grapple with somebody, there was some issue that just did not allow me to be able to do that, then yes, I would 100% be okay with having to hit somebody. Though I would be trying to be as careful as I could be to not do any lasting damage to the guy that I'm hitting. There's this weird taboo that we have in the West that surrounds hitting people that I would like to make a video about someday. But for now, I'll just say that people are damn near suicidal in the way that they're so averse to hitting people, especially hitting people first. I remember this weird urban legend from when I was a kid that stated that in order for it to be self-defense, the other person had to hit you 3 times. I also remember seeing a bunch of different kinds of school fights that would usually start off with 2 guys peacocking, saying, "Hit me, no, you hit me first, no, you hit me first, you get the first punch." It was really, really weird. Now, obviously, you shouldn't just be hitting people for any old reason, and I can actually count on one hand how many times I've hit someone outside of a competition or gym setting, and I would still have fingers to spare. But at the end of the day, if it's me or him, it might as well be me, especially if my right to safety, peace of mind, or personal space is being violated by an aggressor. And in my opinion, nobody should have to put up with that, but in certain jurisdictions, they disagree, which is why I'm not advising anyone to do anything in this video. When it comes to acting in a situation like that, there's typically a little bit of criteria, I guess you could say, that I'll end up using to decide whether or not I need to or not. It really comes down to a bunch of different things, like what his posture is, what he has in his hands, how he's talking, how he's moving. Typically, if I'm in a situation like that, I don't actually have to think about these things either. It's just kind of an automatic process that my mind goes through. If at any point I feel that I cannot get away and that I'm going to be harmed in a serious manner, I will act to stop the threat and preserve my life. So that's all that I have for you today. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I want to say thank you to the person who ended up asking me the question. That was a really good question, and I think a lot of people could probably benefit from hearing it. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and leave a like and sub for more, and if you have any questions for me, hit me up on Instagram, @ScottSullivanMMA. Other than that, thank you very much for watching, and until next time, good luck out there.